Now we're going to talk about warm-up stuff, what I do before the gig. Usually it's sound check. I get there, get real comfortable with the drums, set up the drums so that I'm really comfortable with them. You know, everything's set up in the right spot. It's really important so then you can come out right away slamming from the first, from the first downbeat. You're not, shifting stuff around. Your seat isn't right or the snare's too high or whatever. It's really important that when you set up your kit before the gig, make sure you're real comfortable with it. And then let the engineers and whoever mic the drum set after you've got everything in position. Don't move your stuff for them. Make them mic the kit to how you like it. Because if could you move your cymbal a little higher so you might get my mic in there? It's like you can work with them, but not so it's uncomfortable. You're the one that's playing, so that's really important. Another thing that I do before, usually, I'll play at sound check, and that's usually my warm-up when we're on tour and stuff. I don't really practice that much because we're playing most every night. And at sound check, I usually get to warm up pretty good. So I don't do a lot of playing during the day. But what I do is I do some stretching stuff. I also, it's just good to be stretched and warmed up. Any sort of, I basically stole a lot of my stretching exercises from Nadia Comaneci. And she taught me, I do a lot of, I touch the back of my head to my knees. And I don't really want to go into that right now, but, stretching is good. Yoga is really good, any of that sort of thing. But I also do warm-ups. I'll just do like some double stroke rolls just to get your hands warm. So you're coming in, you don't cramp up. Like a lot of times, if you don't warm up and you get right out on the drums and you start playing really hard right from the beginning, you'll cramp. And Flea does a lot of warming up exercises. He's got a serious thing that he does. So he doesn't cramp up because he's doing so much stuff. So you're using your arms and your hands. It's really important. You get right out there and maybe, you're a little excited and you're gripping the sticks a little too hard or something. You can cramp up really easy. So it's good to warm up your hands. So I just do like some double stroke rolls, this kind of stuff, some flam. That sort of thing. But again, there's nothing really strict or anything like that. A lot of people ask about tuning and what, the drum tunings, and I get that a lot in the clinics and stuff. So I'll give you how I like the drums to sound and how I like them and a little idea. Let's go to the kit, man. So I'll start with the snare drum, and this is an old Ludwig Pioneer, I think, one of the drum doctor's drums that he brought today, and I usually use skinnier drums, sometimes piccolos, and I also use some wood drums, some 5-inch drums. It just depends on, sometimes I get bored with like a piccolo after a while, and I'll change to a wood drum just to change because I need to be inspired by the snare since you play it so much. It's an important instrument on the kit. So I really like it really pretty tight. The top head should be real tight. And as far as tuning for the snare drum goes, I put the head on and I just go counterclockwise or opposite lugs and just get them going, crank them up. And then I'll have either myself or my drum tech will usually like stand on it. Now, it's probably not too good to stand on this really old classic drum, but just to stretch it out, because you'll play for a while, and even during sound check, and the drum will be up high, and by just the nature of the head and stuff, it'll stretch out, and so it's good to crank it up a little bit higher than I really normally like it. So after I beat it and sort of get it into where I like it to be, it's stretched out, and it's not going to change too much during the show. Another thing that I had a problem, I think probably a lot of people do, it's like you're in the dark or whatever, you're at a show, and you have trouble finding your drum key. You're like, drum key, yeah, if a lug loosens up or something. So what I did was put your old Velcro around the drum key and just put it on here, right? Snap it onto the part of the key, put the other spot right here on the bass drum, Bam, doesn't go anywhere. Stays right there. It's in the dark, it's between songs or something, and I need to do a little tweaking. I just go right for it, and it's always there. So that's like that's a little secret tip. As far as tuning goes for the toms, I basically try to get them to go to the races. When they go, so I think it's thirds or something. Not exactly sure, but for my toms with the 4-tom setup, that works for me. So, or you can play to the races like this, like. Close. This guy's a little out, so I'll tune him up. Or you can play In the Mood. So for me, that's where the toms, my drums sound the best, and it's good for, really for the tension, so that you know your stick comes off the drums and it's not like mushy. I like to have a pretty tight playing surface so I can get around them faster. So basically on the tuning thing, after I tweak them up and get them pretty close, I'll hold the middle with my finger to kill the overtones. Because when you play it like this, you're getting the ring from everything, and it's better just to dampen a little. Then you get the overtones. So see that? So this one's a little lower. I'm going to tweak this guy up a little bit. And this one's lower, so I'm going to go like this. No, this guy's too high. So you just kind of got to go around until you can basically get the drum. Try to get them as close as you can to each other. So there's a good ring. Unless some people like the drums that go down, boo. I like to try to keep them as even as I can, and just so you don't have obnoxious over rings on the drum, so it's a bad ring. But just really live. I don't put any tape on the drums. Sometimes a little piece of tape on the snare drum if it has a little bit of ring, but I like to keep them as open as possible. Another thing about the bass drum, this kick drum head is really pretty slack. It's not real tight. It's pretty loose. Well, I'll put the drum head on and I'll go around all the lugs, and then just enough to get the wrinkles out. So it's really pretty slack. It's pretty slack. And I have one of these Falam slams on there, and that gives it more attack. I'm going to talk about Suck My Kiss, the next tune I'm going to play along with the track. And I'll just talk a little bit about my approach to playing the rhythm track. It's really important I really lock in with the bass and the guitar, playing a lot of unison lines, especially in the verse. So I try to catch a lot of the stuff, a lot of the accents with the bass drum. And the dynamics are really important. The verses, I'm really tight with the hi-hat, and then it opens up for the choruses, which has sort of an AC/DC-ish kind of chorus feel on the guitar. So I'm kind of smashing away more on the chorus to lift it up, and of course on the lead too to play behind John and move that along. But definitely just really solid and really hard, just cranking it and moving the tune along, and check out the dynamics and keeping the hi-hat real tight in the verse. So play along. See ya.